You guys know dating me's no walk in the park.
I feel like I spent a lot of the beginning of our relationship just confused.
Mental health can very much interfere in relationships.
Okay, you need to see someone because your come downs are unfortunately hurting me a little bit.
And that's okay to say.
You are a great daughter,
Stop,
whatever.
are you trying to make me cry?
Like, she needs help.
You kind of came in and treated me like a woman better than any man has ever treated me.
I would never abandon you.
You removed your tata.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Right.
did you want to have top surgery?
I've never liked having boobs.
You were the first set of boobs. For me.
Yeah.
And then they're gone.
Yeah.
I'm laughing.
Anyways.
The internet isn't real. We're the directors of our own movies when we post online. We choose what makes the cut for our audience. I'm choosing to bring back authenticity to my highlight reel, and hopefully this inspires others to do the same.
Hey guys. You guys know a lot about me, okay? But the person you don't know a lot about is my guest right here, Jules, my girlfriend.
Hello.
Since having guests, I've seen all of your comments about who to bring on the series. The #1 comment was have your girlfriend Jules on, so here we are. I very rarely show our dynamic. You guys don't know that much about her. You just know that I have this hot, blonde, masked lesbian girlfriend. You guys don't know my girl.
I'm not used to like being on a camera, so it is kind of like a miracle that I am in some of your TikToks as it is, because
I know.
I don't like being on camera. I'm getting used to it, but now there's 3 cameras, a big light, multiple microphones, and like 3 or 4 people up here, so I'm just like, all right, let's get going with it.
Now, even though you haven't been in my content a lot on YouTube, everyone on YouTube like knows the tea, they know the lore. I made a whole video called I Dumped My Boyfriend for My First Girlfriend. They know the story. But I feel like I want them to get to know you. Mm-hmm. Obviously, like, I'm very used to being on camera. I've been doing it since I was literally 15.
Yeah.
Like, we're going on 15 years of doing this. You never were that girl. You were never on camera. You never really posted on Instagram. I remember when I met you, you like hardly posted.
I've always been behind the scenes like my whole life. Like I was the drummer in a band, and then I was the producer behind the song. I've done the artist stuff, but it's never been something I wanted to do because being on camera to me is just like nerve-wracking.
But you're doing so good.
It's funny that that's the person I ended up with, is someone who's so not afraid to be on camera. We're like opposite in that way, which is good because I feel like it's a growing experience for me.
Jules is a music producer, and that's how we met in a songwriting session. And yeah, you've done like really cool things. She just had a global song with TJ Maxx. Wendy from the K-pop group Red Velvet just put out a song Jules produced and wrote on called
Existential Crisis.
Yes. And it's such a good song.
Thanks.
I wanted that song too. Jules is like really kind of having a really good year in the music space, and I just want you guys to like get to know her. So like I just have so many questions, but start us from the beginning.
I'll start with like how I got into music first of all, which is I grew up like just in a musical family, like, like my dad played guitar in college, my uncle, his brother. Okay, we're gonna get Julianne piano lessons. Like that was the first thing I learned at 7 years old. I did that for a couple years, and then my parents always noticed me like around the house like tapping on stuff, and they were like, oh, maybe you need like a drum set or drum lessons. So I started out with drum lessons. From that point, they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna get you a drum set. So then I learned drums. I played in like a bunch of pop punk bands growing up. I got asked to be in like an all-girl band that was managed by it was like Vanessa Hudgens' old manager or something like that. I was like, cool, this is great. I was like 15, 14 years old, and I had to go to rehearsals like multiple times a week and drive from San Diego to like Anaheim or San Diego to LA. And it was after school. So I was in a normal high school at that time, at freshman year, first semester, and I started failing my classes because I would come home so late and I wouldn't get any work done. So my parents took me out of that school so I could play in this band, and they put me in a school that did something called independent study. And basically I would take home packets of work like once a week, and then I would just turn it in the next week. But that was like enabling me to be able to play in this girl band, essentially.
Something we do always talk about is that I did have the stereotypical, like, normal high school experience where I was a cheerleader on dance team, did choir, then went to college. You never had that.
No, I never went to prom. I wanted to play in the band, and I wanted to make music, and I wanted to go on tour, and that's where all my energy went. But looking back, I mean, do I have regrets? Like, I think maybe I should have enjoyed being a teenager a little bit more, because I was on the fast track to being, playing in these bands, maybe signing a record deal or whatever. And like,
Something we do have in common that I feel like I'm really lucky that we have is that you understand hustling since you were 15.
Right.
It's at least like in the space you want to have a career in. Obviously, it started with being in bands. You moved to Chicago at 18, which is crazy, all by
Barely
yourself.
18. I was also in like a relationship out there that I didn't really tell anybody about, because at the time I hadn't come out yet. So the reason I moved to Chicago was, yes, to play in this band, but the only reason I was able to play in that band is because the person I was seeing at the time lived there. That was my first queer relationship as well. And again, I was barely 18, and it was unfortunately a secret, because at that time we weren't able to come out and be supported. I was seeing things in the news about how people were against gay marriage being legalized. You'd be sitting on the couch watching the news, and the person next to you might mumble something under their breath, and it just makes you feel like, well, there's just no way I can ever tell anybody about this. So unfortunately, I was in that relationship, and it wasn't necessarily a healthy one. But I came out of it, again, heartbroken at this time, and nobody knew that I went through that. So I moved back to San Diego after playing in that band and all those things I went through, and nobody in my family knew what was going on, but I just told my mom. I was like, I need to talk to a therapist. And she was like, okay. And that therapist eventually helped me work my way up to coming out to my parent. I just said, hey, I'm bi, because I wasn't sure, but I didn't want to lean one way or the other, because again, you just don't know.
When you're queer and you're figuring it out, like, you're constantly coming out. And it's like, Mom, Dad, I could still like guys, but I like girls.
Right.
I'm bi. And then
Deep down, I knew, though. I'm fairly sure I knew. But, it is a stepping stone, because you sort of feel guilty already, and you almost feel like you have to leave a little bit of hope of, like, the norm or what your parents hoped you'd have growing up, because you don't want to let them down. There's so much fear, and there's so much guilt, and you feel it even for years after,
You know what's crazy, though, is that, like, you had such a traumatic first girlfriend experience where you moved across the country to Chicago to be with her. It was secret. You went through a breakup. It was still a secret. You moved all the way back to San Diego. And then she ends up getting engaged, like, shortly after.
Yeah.
That's traumatic. But then here's me. You're my first girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Is that weird? Like, has it ever occurred to you, like, oh, like, what I went through and all those feelings and the magic and the scariness of being with a girl for the first time? Like, oh my God, my partner's living that right now through me. Like, is that weird?
I mean, there's definitely moments where, having empathy for my younger self also, it clicks to me like, okay, I have empathy for you as well, because yeah, you are having a similar, I wouldn't say similar experience in the negative way that I had it, because like after everything I've learned, I feel like I've really learned how to be a good partner, and I would never want to do to you what someone did to me. But yeah, it hits me all the time. I'm like, especially when we have family gatherings or, it's holiday time, there's still firsts for you. And honestly, some of those things are still firsts for me too, because while you are maybe not my first girlfriend, you are my first serious partner that I've been in a long-term relationship with. And I never had that before. I always honestly dreamt about being able to bring home someone for the holidays. And Niki, you are like the first person that I was out. It wasn't a secret, and it was like, we know we love each other and we're loyal people to each other, and that's like somebody I want to celebrate the holidays with, so that's a first for me. Yeah.
So you're my first girlfriend, but I'm your first serious relationship.
Yes.
Aww,
Yeah.
Jules. You had a lot more experience with like getting with girls under your belt, like way more than me. But I have relationship experience.
That's
so, like,
true.
we could teach each other a lot.
We have been.
We've been teaching each other a lot. Which, speaking of, I want to talk about our relationship.
All right, I'm gonna pause right here because I have something I really want to share with you guys. If you're paying rent every month and earning nothing in return, let me introduce to you Built. So this is a loyalty program for renters that transforms your rent payments into valuable rewards. It literally transforms one of your largest monthly expenses, rent, into something valuable. Let me explain. So when you pay through Built, you earn Built points. There's no cost to join, and you guys can start earning rewards on your rent no matter where you live. These points can then be transferred to your favorite hotels, airlines, Lyft rides, student loan payments, you name it, or used toward future rent payments. Built is also unlocking experiences and VIP treatments around your neighborhood, like complimentary add-ons at Built Partners, comedy and dining experiences. So Built transforms the spending you're already doing into an opportunity to earn rewards, and it unlocks the best that your neighborhood has to offer. So you guys can sign up with the link in my description or just scan the QR code on the screen, and make sure you use my URL so they know I sent you. And I hope you guys experience this too. We can all experience this at the same time. Rent is annoying, rent is a pain, but knowing that you're getting rewards in return, it makes paying rent so much better. All right, so with all that being said, let's get back into the video.
Obviously this is called Get Real. The internet is a highlight reel. And I do feel like sometimes couples posting, obviously like couples aren't gonna post their fights. Couples aren't gonna post the lows. Couples post on anniversaries and holidays and like when times are good. You guys know dating me is no walk in the park. I have been very open about my mental health issues, the stress of being online and being a public figure and dealing with hate and stressing about views and chasing the next thing. And this is my partner. Like, this is the person that's been with me for going on 4 years, which is crazy. This is the person that has literally been by my side through so much, so many life changes. I guess, like, I just want to get real about, like, you can be real, like, what has the experience been? Like, and you don't have to sugarcoat anything.
You know, you have trauma from when you were younger, and that still shows up in your day-to-day life, and that can affect our relationship, and it has. It has taken a lot of patience for me to, like, understand that and not respond with anger or emotional breakdowns in a way that, like, okay, I just have to go, Niki's triggered, and maybe we just need to take a beat and maybe ask, like, what do you need? Instead of, it's so easy, it was so easy for me to take it personally.
I mean, we've come so far, specifically this year. We are genuinely a team, genuinely best friends, but we're still not perfect. No couple's perfect, but we've come so far. When you're out of the honeymoon stage and you're no longer trying to woohoo or keep someone around, and you are also comfortable and you start keeping it real, and it's like, whoa, you're testing me, whoa. That was a hard chapter for us.
I think that in the beginning, yeah, you have the honeymoon stage, but then the veil is lifted, and then we see each other's trauma. We see how we trigger each other. Finances, like living away from our families, our careers. We have so many things that can be really impactful to us, and I'm going through all my trials and tribulations, and so are you. But when we're able to come together on it, it's like...
How about when we both sync up and we're both bitches?
Oh, when we're both getting our periods, it's like...
Like, I feel like people don't really...
Somebody called 911.
People don't talk about that. I think some of our worst fights have been, I'm PMSing and she's bleeding, or vice versa. It's hard not to be... Sorry, I was bothering you.
Okay. We have to learn not to take things personally, because it never is.
It never is personal.
Never.
Like, the big blowout started over something so
But boy do I
stupid.
feel stupid about it, like, in hindsight.
Same.
Because not thinking about these things, and also, like, can we talk about the fact that, like, you're medicated now? Like,
Sure, let's get real. Mental health can very much interfere in relationships. Me specifically, I was undiagnosed bipolar. I don't care, I'll talk about it here. The only medication that worked for me is only used to treat epilepsy and bipolar. And this was the only one that worked.
Well, prior to you finding out that worked, in the first few years that Niki and I were dating, she was taking an ADHD medication called 𝑧𝑐𝑪𝑰ℎ.
Which does not work with bipolar. If your moods are already like this, it's gonna throw you into a mania.
Right. So I was still getting to know you, but I had no idea that you had bipolar or I just knew that you had really bad ADHD, and if you didn't take this medication, it would be hard for you to get things done. But it was so, like, confusing for me because you'd have these really good, solid days, but before you took that pill, you weren't really in the best mood. And then coming down from that medication, you were just distraught. You were emotionally, whatever was going on that day, you'd start to really feel it sink in once the medication was wearing off. But I didn't know what was going on.
When my high wears off.
Right. I, as still someone who's getting to know you, I was like, okay, is it the wrong medication? Or, like, I knew you had trauma, but I didn't know how much, and I didn't know how it was affecting you. So I feel like I spent a lot of the beginning of our relationship just confused because I didn't understand what was going on with you, but I just wanted to be there for you and support you. I think it had gotten to a point, though, where I was like, okay, you need to see someone because your come downs are unfortunately hurting me a little bit because...
And that's okay to say.
Because I was confused. It, not like hurting me. Like,
no, but it's fair. People that are watching who are dating someone who's like struggling, maybe with substance abuse or on the wrong medication, that's hard.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wasn't meaning to hurt you.
Right.
But by me not properly taking care of myself, because we are a duo and a partnership, it's gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And it's gonna affect you, especially if you love someone. So, like, I'm thankful and grateful that you stuck that out with me. Well, it was very eye-opening to go from dating people who didn't care to, like, you were, like, you were a team with me from the get-go. You were a life partner.
Well, because it's, like, it's no secret, like, if anybody who knows Niki knows that, like, you have a big heart, you are a good friend, you're a good person, you are a great daughter, sibling, whatever.
Stop, are you trying to make me cry?
Like, and everybody who knows her knows that she cares so much, almost to her own detriment. So it was never about, I love you. It was never about, oh, Niki's a bad person. Like, no, Niki's dealing with something. Niki's dealing with deep-rooted trauma, and she needs help. That's all it was.
And, like, Jules, like, really, like, obviously what my problems were affecting you a ton, but you were doing therapy on how to work with me through things. That's when I was like, this person loves me.
Right.
You were using your therapy money and your therapy time to ask your therapist, how should I handle this with me? I will never take that for granted. Because I'm not gonna lie, like, there were times where I'm like, she's gonna leave me, there's no way she's gonna put up with this anymore. I guess, like, people watching, maybe, like, what advice do you have if they're dating someone who's going through it mentally or undiagnosed or not medicated?
I mean, I would just ask them questions. Are you interested in going to therapy? Are you interested in seeing a psychiatrist? Are you open to seeing if there is something out there for you that could help you mentally? Maybe it is getting on medication, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just therapy, and I don't want to,
Can I be honest about a moment we had?
Yeah.
So at one point, Jules looked at me and said, I love you. You need medication. I started tracking my moods, and I started tracking our fights. Every time we'd have arguments, remember I told you the note I started in my phone? Yeah. I would track what the fights were, how they started, because I know we love each other. I knew that. Absolutely. I knew for a fact we were life partners, we're end game, we're in this, but you can't be fighting with someone. Like, I don't want to be fighting with her. I was scared of psychiatrists for a while because when I was on my ADHD medicine, I felt like it ruined my life. Like, the medication literally, like, derailed me. So I stayed far away from psychiatrists, far away from medication. And then I hit a point and I'm like, maybe it was the wrong one and it exists for a reason, so let's look into it. And I'm so glad you said that.
Well, and I just want to preface, like, you were already in therapy. It's not like you were doing everything and you still weren't getting there, which is why I said, okay, can you talk to someone about medication? Because now we're at the point where
I'm doing everything.
We've done the cognitive behavioral therapy. We had done a bunch of research together separately. Okay, basically what it was like, you can cut this out if you want.
Go off.
It just felt like Niki was splitting. So it was like, Niki was Niki, but then when Niki was triggered, Niki wasn't Niki anymore. Niki was a stranger. Honestly, it's like a stranger who was fighting with me. Because I know my Niki, and she wouldn't, maybe talk to me in the way she when she split.
Obviously, like, that was me, but it didn't feel like it was me inside. I was reacting to things as if she was the person that gave me my trauma, but she's just a mirror. Relationships are mirrors. So I saw someone say somewhere that healthy relationships are supposed to test you. They're not supposed to sugarcoat things and just enable you. Healthy relationships, they're going to bring up your shit because we want to end up together. We want to work through things together.
Yeah.
And when you brush shit under the rug, that's setting your relationship up to fail. That means you're not that serious about it. And Jules has been the first partner to actually like be upfront and say, no, this is what's happening. I care about us. I want us to work. You need to work on this.
I wasn't saying, like, I wasn't giving you an ultimatum. I was just saying, I think you need this because it's not just for our relationship. It's for every relationship you have in your life. We always say, if we never worked out for some reason, whatever reason, you are my best friend. So it's like, I would never abandon you.
That's literally
Yeah.
my best friend. This is so funny that you're on here. Yeah. I'm laughing. We're all like professional right now. Shut up.
Anyway.
And then I'm gonna be in my bonnet tonight in bed watching Shrek.
That's my girl.
You're just really chill and talented. And I just like want people to know that.
Same ditto.
Aww.
Ditto.
Jules, yeah, but you're like more hidden about it. Like I've been pushing Jules to post on TikTok, which she's been.
And I'm actually liking it now. Before I didn't like it because I was just so scared of the internet, honestly.
Speaking of like the fact that you hide your talent, Jules has a big song in the EDM world called Oxygen with Excision and Wooly and Trifecta. It's like just a big song. And my brother goes to these EDM festivals, and when I started talking to Jules, I knew about this song, and I knew my brother goes to these festivals. So I was like, hey, Anthony, the girl I'm talking to, she's on a song called Oxygen. And my brother, who never fangirls, started fangirling like, oh my God, on Oxygen? That song got me through everything. What do you mean? And he started sending me videos of like the song playing at like a festival and everyone crying to it. And I'm like, Jules, you're massive in the EDM world. Every time someone mentions they go to EDM festivals, I'm like, you know, I'm dating Julianne Hope from Oxygen. And they're like, what? Like they all like have to like grab something. Like you have fans.
It's like, it doesn't feel real.
I'm gonna be Kris Jenner with you. We gotta plot some. You gotta go to an EDM festival.
I know, I'm just gonna show up at one of these festivals and like run on a stage and start screaming.
You toured with Haley Kiyoko,
I didn't play for Haley.
but you played for the opener.
Yeah, but there were a couple dates. I opened for Nick Jonas. Getting off stage and seeing Nick Jonas walk by, getting ready to go on stage was crazy.
And we just went to the Jonas Brothers concert. That must be so weird.
It's just full circle. And I used to like see him in studios in LA, like when we'd be seeing each other in passing in the same studio. There was one time where he had ordered like curry and rice or something like that, and he was trying to dispose of it, and he asked me, he's like, can I put rice in the disposal? I was like, I don't think you should do that. And he's like, oh, okay. It was just random.
That's so funny, the things we remember.
He's the nicest guy. Touring was so hard on my body, and also being the girl who lugs around the biggest fucking instrument. Like, I couldn't have picked a guitar. I couldn't have picked a tambourine. I couldn't have picked a freaking violin.
Or a bass.
Or a bass or a keyboard, something. I picked the biggest. And so I just spent half my life, honestly, already doing that, to where I was like, I need something new, and production is my stage. Songwriting is my stage. That's where I shine. That's where I'm the most comfortable. Who knows? Maybe someday I could play live again. I'm not really sure. But for now, I am the songwriter, the producer, and I am definitely trying to like work on my craft as a musician. So you will see me playing some drums again.
A day in the life of Niki and Jules. I'm upstairs editing a video. She's downstairs editing music. We are both on our computers, and every time we're like traveling, we always got our laptops open and our headphones on, and we're both the same. We're both just like heads in the computer doing our craft. We do very similar things, to where you have said, oh, I want to get into video editing, and I've even said I want to get into producing.
Yeah.
And like, I do think that's next for both of us. Okay, so obviously we've talked sexuality, but something that we haven't talked about on this channel is gender and gender identity.
Sure.
I think a year ago this week,
Yeah.
you got your top surgery.
Yeah.
You removed your tatas. And you made that decision. You weren't vocal about it with your family. I didn't tell my family, and you just did it. Because you're like, Niki, I need to do this. I went with you to the consultation. Then the surgery was quickly scheduled and you just did it. Why
Right.
did you want to have top surgery?
I have never liked having, I've never liked having boobs. I've never felt comfortable having boobs.
Say it.
It's just never been something I've wanted to like show off. And you know, I'm 31 and it's like, am I going to spend the rest of my life feeling this way?
Obviously, like, from my POV, you were the first set of boobs for me.
Yeah.
And then they're gone.
Yeah. I mean, it was probably a trip for you.
Oh, it was. It's like, oh, now I'm back to having the chest I'm kind of used to.
I'm glad we're able to laugh about it because, like, it is kind of funny because I'm your first, like, girlfriend. I guess, like, you know, for anyone who's watching this, like, my pronouns are she, they. And I've had a lot of conversations about, you know, because everyone asks, like, are you transitioning? Or do you want to be a guy or whatever? And the answer is no. I'm just happy being Jules. And I do feel like if anyone ever asks, I always say, I just feel like I'm in the middle. I feel like, you know, you can call me she, you can call me they, like that, both of those work for me. But this is where it stops for me as far as like what else I want to do to my body. I feel like I've really gone through so much to get to this point. And people may not understand, but I can't waste any time trying to get people to understand. If anyone has questions, though, I am more than willing to answer questions. But if you're not me, you may not get it.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. But I had to come to terms with that. The best analogy I have is a friend of ours who wanted to get a boob job. She wanted bigger boobs. And when everyone asks her, oh, why do you want bigger boobs? Actually, they don't even ask her.
No, when people get boob jobs, it's normalized. It's like, oh, it's assumed they just wanted bigger boobs. They got it to look better and to feel better.
Yeah, for aesthetics.
And for confidence.
Yeah, and gender affirming care, essentially.
Yeah, some girls, like I've literally had friends say, I look like I have a guy chest, so I'm getting a boob job so I could feel more feminine. So it's like, it goes the same way.
So we validate that, but we can't
yeah.
validate the other thing, which is crazy.
And since you got that top surgery, we will not use names. We're not going to be messy, but so many people were like, oh my God, why did she do that? Why? Is she okay? It's like, yeah. I actually think it was a sign that you're really coming into yourself and you don't care what people think. I didn't even tell my family. You didn't tell your family. We did it.
All these people around you that are putting these ideas in your head of, you know, follow traditions and what is standard and a man should be with a woman. And it's like, that's all well and good too. Like, that's great if that's what you want. But there's more outside of that, and we can't let ourselves, you know, fall short because of what other people think we should be doing.
Even when we experience homophobia together, we get through it together, and we don't let it affect us.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, no Joe Schmo is going to tell me how to live my life.
Love simply is love. Doesn't matter the anatomy or the body parts. It's like, the feelings are all exactly the same, and the experience of a long-term relationship is like exactly the same. So for me, it's felt natural. It's felt natural to go from what I've been with, because it's so similar. I'm not saying you're like a guy, but you are definitely my Prince Charming a lot of the time, and I feel like you're princess. I do feel like I'm in my feminine. I feel like you've really brought out my femininity, and you've kind of like came in and treated me like a woman better than any man has ever treated me. And yeah, you're more of a man than any other man I've ever been with, so.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
I love when I call you pretty and handsome, pretty handsome.
Yeah.
Because you're pretty and handsome.
The versatility. You know, that's great that I make you feel like you're in your feminine, but also, like, you show up for me in ways, maybe I need a little extra love or I'm going through it. I don't know if it would be called being in your masculine, but I think it's just a seesaw.
We could talk on and on. Obviously, guys, like, we have to end this somewhere, which sucks, but there is so much to get into, but we're going to have to stop here. I feel like I'm in host mode, so this is weird. Help me turn it off, please.
Thanks for getting real with us. Maybe we'll get real again.
All right. It's always so weird ending these. I say this every time.
Thanks for watching. Love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.